Hey, welcome to my gardens again. It is November 8th. It's been some time. I've been doing a lot of other projects and letting Mother Nature take its course. I don't fuss about this time of year too much. I don't clean up a lot of the leaves because of the pollinators are embedding into the fallen leaves. I do clean up some of the stuff like on the phlox, and because the leaves will, over the winter, the wet leaves will kind of choke stuff out and leave some indentations, and I'll clean up some of it, but there's still a bunch of leaves, as you see here in southern New Jersey, so I'm not rushing out here to clean up. So one of the things I started today is I brought what I did today. My dahlia tubers. So this is my Kelvin floodlight. I have another one under there. It's Rebecca's World. So I have all these. I rinsed them all out. Got as much dirt. I let them sit out in the sun today. I'll take them out tomorrow because it's still a little damp. And then you need to split them. This one's probably due for splitting. So one of the things you look for, so you have the tuber, has a good root base, but that's not the important part. The important part is you need to have these, see if I can get it in focus, these nodules right at the end of the tuber. So that's where you want to cut it on this side, because that's the new growth for the plant. And you could split these. I could probably get 5 or 6 plants out of that. I could probably do more, but it gets a little fussy. I did dig up one of my favorites. It just didn't grow, but it didn't die. It did have one single bloom on it. This is my Labyrinth dahlia, and it just didn't like where it was. But I'll overwinter it and get it back in the ground in spring. So I'll give you a quick tour. There's still stuff blooming. Knockout is still pumping them out. I have the Snow Hill Salvia is still pushing out blooms, and the straggler bumblebees and or such are still loving it. My monster tomato plant is still growing and still producing cherry tomatoes. This was a freebie. Somehow it landed in the middle of my garden, and I just left it. You can see new blooms like right over there. The candy corn spirea are changing. You got some greens, yellows, oranges, reds, almost like a purple. That's one of the reasons why I love these. You have like this one, same thing, just different timing. This gets a little more sun. So you got the yellows and the oranges, and then it's starting to turn red. So this is a new section. I took a bunch of stuff out. Mostly it was the turtle heads, which they're just not showy enough. They kept drooping. It's just kind of a pain. So I threw a couple of the like the Heliopsis and some lilies. I'm thinking of probably putting some of my dahlias here next year. Give it a little more sun, a little bit more open, and see how they go. So my hot lip salvias that I have, there's one. I have another over there, and one here, are still, pumping out the blooms. Like I said, it's November 8th. We did have basically a killer frost. It was the first, really knocked down the dahlias, which is the the telling aspect of getting them out of the ground. So I got a lot of them out of here. I still got one there, which is my lilac thyme. And then this was the now this is the Rebecca's World. I got the wrong tag. I gotta fix that one. Things are starting to change. And, I took all that out. My Montauk daisies are gone. I ripped out the bee balm that was there. Moved a couple other plants that were kind of getting choked out. I started cleaning out here, trimmed back my wisteria, reposted it, the trellis, because the trellis is just, the plant's getting too big for the trellis, so I need to come up with another idea. But that's a big challenge. I got to find something first. Again, some busy work, and my yellow woolly bear, which is a Virginia tiger moth. He's right under there. He's chewing away. Good for him. This is why I leave my coneflowers out. One, for late pollinators, but then a lot of my coneflowers, the birds will take the seeds out. So when this goes to seed, they'll just pop the seeds out. Usually, a favorite of these is for the goldfinch. They love sitting on these and just popping the seeds out. Again, my hot lip salvia just pumping blooms out. So one of the other things that show is my yarrow still blooming, my blanket flowers, and this is a concertina iris. It just budded, so I'll get a bunch of blooms off of that one. And more yarrow blooming. Comes through here, and I have some of my white iris, the immortalities. That there was a bunch of blooms on these about a week ago, but there's a couple more coming up. There's another one here. So yes, iris do bloom, October, November time frame. There's a dozen or so varieties. I have a couple more here that I got at the local garden center. I don't remember what variety these were. These are the Pleasant Pheasant, but yeah, these are also the spring ones. I gotta get those in the ground. I got an ironweed to get in the ground. I got a pugster I gotta get in the ground. I just put these in today. Just with everything else going on, I haven't had the time. This is a pristine lilac beard tongue. They'll get 2 feet, 2 by 2. And I think it would be good because the coloration, the purple coloring on it will go good with the pink bluebeard. And more coneflowers. The roses are still putting out some blooms. Is my Graham Thomas. But yeah, for most part, it's time to cut everything down. It's a big part. It's a lot of work that come through, and this is between my James Galway rose, which is setting at a pretty good, C, hip. I'm gonna have to try to save that one. In a Cancun. Some of these shoots are 4 or 5 feet long. I need to get my ladder out and tie them all up and then trim everything back for the winter. The obedient plants are still blooming. But everything else is, pretty much coming to an end. I'll take leaves for most part and grind them up. You put them, use it as mulch for over winter, or put in my compost. Hopefully next year my blackberries should produce something, hopefully. Roses are doing pretty well. Still got a lot of work on these to get them to grow up, but it's only been a year. I put them in last season, so it's been a full year. So second year usually is pretty good. Here's one thing that I said I would point out this time of year. So this is a string theory Amsonia. So they bloom late spring, summerish time frame, and then the foliage is just fairly average green during the after bloom, and in the fall they turn to bright yellow gold, which is a great contrast. It's a very interesting transformation of these. So if you can find these, it's a great plant to have. I got some fall broccoli. They're not none at the point of producing anything yet, but they're close. Hopefully they'll last. They're pretty hardy, even with the frost. And then the back is just filled with leaves, pine cones, and crab apples. This year is interesting because the crab apple, we didn't usually get a lot of crab apples, and as you can see, they're all over the place, and they're pretty big. And then my neighbor's pine tree, just hundreds, you're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pine cones. This is, I've cleaned them up multiple times. I've picked up a few hundred, and now there's probably another 300-400 pine cones. So is that a telling sign for what's to come for winter? We will see. But yeah, it's fall, so I do have a lot of cleanup to do. I want to try to get up as much of the leaves and put them into the gardens, and clean up as much as I can. The honeysuckle. This is a coral honeysuckle, still blooming, and it's seeding. So we'll see if I get some odd growths. If they fall, I'll take them out. I'm actually trying to grow a sensation honeysuckle indoor. I took a sprig off and I was able to root it. But yeah, I have to come through here and just tidy up, get everything ready for winter. It's a lot of changes I'm going to do come spring. A lot of different plants, move stuff around. let's see. Yeah, that's about it. It's been kind of a uneventful fall so far. We haven't had any big storms. We've had rain, which is good. Keeps everything, not thirsty, so they can continue to root this time of year. But yeah, that's it. That's my gardens. If you got any questions, put them in the comments. Always looking for additional content. One of the things I'll do is I'll do a video on how to overwinter the dahlias, and how to break them apart and stuff like that, and what's the best way to take that on. Like those big clumps I have, you can just replant them as is, but then they get very difficult to manage. The plant just becomes unmanageable. Like this one, it becomes unmanageable at that point. So we'll see how everything goes this winter. I do have a lot of plans for, especially in here, to bring a lot more color and a lot more varieties. So but yep, thanks for watching. Like my video, subscribe, and leave me any questions or suggestions. Always looking forward to different content. Thanks for watching.